And hello everybody, welcome to another Pokéstoric video. And this is the first Easter themed video. So like Pokéstoric and Christmas, there are some rules to cover, and the rules are as follows. Firstly, the subject has to be associated with eggs, which would include any egg-laying animals or animals that are just commonly associated with eggs, such as the Oviraptor, otherwise known as the egg thief. That or animals that appeared in the early parts of a period or era, such as Coelophysis or Lystrosaurus, which appeared in the early Triassic. Oh, of course, there'll be 5 artists, 5 animals, and 5 different lineages of Pokemon. Anyway, I suppose you guys want to get on the video, so let's start with the video. Our first entry in this video is an animal I believe many wouldn't think when it comes to eggs. Basically, it's a monotreme called Steropodon. Oh, in case you don't know what monotremes are, they are basically mammals that lay eggs. And these animals include the platypus and echidna. Actually, those are the only extant monotremes I know of. The remains of Steropodon were discovered in the Gryman Creek Formation, Lightning Ridge, New South Wales in Australia, by brothers David and Alan Gallman. This find is a single fossilized jaw with 3 molars, and is the only known fossil found. The lower molars are 5 to 7 millimeters or 0.2 to 0.28 inches in length, and were 3 to 4 millimeters or 0.12 to 0.16 inches in width. These teeth were similar to the modern platypus. To further evidence that Steropodon was similar to a platypus, the fossils show signs of a bill similar to the modern monotreme. This animal was among one of the oldest monotremes discovered and is one of the oldest mammals discovered in Australia. Steropodon was actually quite large for an animal during the Mesozoic period, living on the forested shores inland of Cretaceous Eromanga Sea, where extreme daylight occurred in both summer and winter months. Like modern monotremes, it was likely that Steropodon was an egg-laying mammal. Also, the animal may have been preyed upon by crocodiles such as Isis Florida. One trivial fact, this animal was featured in the 5th episode of BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs, but it wasn't identified properly at the time, so it was represented as a coati, or coati. Random note, wouldn't it be cute to see this pudgy little guy chilling by the waterside? Anyway, this was an entry my patrons chose, although I wanted to do a monotreme since I very much doubt anyone would have attempted to do one, considering they are egg-laying mammals. Also, as cringe as it was looking back at it, I made a PowerPoint presentation on prehistoric creatures when I was about 10, so I used this image of Steropodon, which you can see here, although I don't know if this was an interpretation of Steropodon. Hold on. No, it's not. It's a completely different mammal altogether. Also, can I just say, I wasn't intending on being the first entry again. Actually, this video could have gone as far back as the Ordovician, or when the eggs came about. Anyway, let's see what this prehistoric platypus will look like as a Pokemon. Compared to the Cantonian variants, these Psyduck's headaches are almost unbearable, resulting in their pain fueling their fiery powers. Okay, when I first thought of the idea of a Psyduck variant, because it's based on a platypus, which is a monotreme and looks like Steropodon, it wasn't anything solid, and I thought the idea may not be too creative, considering how a variant is an easy to go to idea, and I think it would have been a bit predictable. However, when I thought about their headaches and how they can be even more brutal, I just love the thought of them becoming fire type due to their headaches. It's dark but funny.
Stop. Get some help.
Why?
Because you seem to be obsessed with documentaries.
Oh, don't worry, I'm fine. Remember last month?
Oh yeah. I just thought you made them to make me sick. If you want to see that sick
It's
fest,
not.
click the link here.
Anyway, it made this Psyduck a bit more patterned and have a narrow beak to reference Steropodon. For stats, Psyduck has amazing special attack with decent bulk, but it's slow. For its abilities, we have Anger Point for power, Drought for support, and Heat Rush to attempt at compensating for its speed. Okay, let's see Golduck.
Wow, subtle.
Oh, come on. Everyone can clearly see it coming. It looks like Psyduck in that little silhouette.
Just get on with it, you psycho.
Okay, I will. While more level-headed than Psyduck, Golduck are highly aggressive. They are also able to telekinetically control lava and magma with their minds. Okay, you know Golduck. Infamous for being named like a psychic type, but isn't. Anyway, it has a narrow jaw, but its fangs are a lot more prominent. Oh, and to reference the gem on the forehead of the Cantonian version, I had that big lump on the crest thing. For stats, Golduck is pretty decent with good special and HP bulk, but it's slow and has poor physical defense. For its abilities, they remain the same.
Okay, so what does it evolve into? Bet it's a psychic type.
Does it?
I guess I'll have to wait.
The gem-like plates on Volduckon are extremely valuable. However, obtaining them makes up 90% of the pricing due to their difficulties of obtaining them. Volduckon spend most of their time in lava pools, waiting to ambush their prey, even ones typically too big for it thanks to its paralysing venom. Furthermore, their bodies can reach temperatures of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and they can produce an intense volcanic smoke that's able to paralyse those engulfed in the black fumes. I've done it! I made a pseudo-legendary duck! Well, some might call it a crocodile, which I don't blame you. With all three designs, I actually looked at the Australian opal called the Fire of Oz.
If it's referring to the wizard, it must be a psychic type.
Have you seen the background?
Why?
Well, I actually thought it could be a good opportunity to make a fire electric type since I think volcanic clouds produce lightning.
That can't be real.
It is. Look it up. Basically, volcanic clouds are actually tiny shards of volcanic glass, which you do not want to breathe in. When all those little particles collide and rub against each other, they can create lightning.
Holy duck.
I wouldn't say holy, more like ultra hot.
Mega Ultra Hot Extreme X.
Nah, that would be like Camerupt or Macargo. Oh, and also the electrotype is referenced to Steropodon's translated name meaning Thunderfang. Anyway, off the screen, people want to see how Mega Ultra Hot Extreme it is in battle. For stats, Volduckon is a pseudo-legendary with a stat total of 600 with the best emphasis on special attack. However, it's incredibly slow. For abilities, we lose Drought and Anger Point and instead gain Flash Fire and a new ability, Strong Fang. Basically, if you use Bite, you have a greater chance of flinch. But a better suggestion would be Thunder Fang or Fire Fang for an increased chance of burn or paralysis respectively. Speaking of which, we mostly have biting moves when it comes to physical moves. However, we have a new special move, which isn't really exclusive, by the way, Volcanic Ash Eruption. While it's amazingly powerful, it causes heavy recoil and you use the force to sleep for 2 turns. So a Lumberry could be good to use with this move. Not much else to say except to be careful of ground types, especially fast physical attackers such as Garchomp or Landorus Therium form. Other than that, Volduckon might be able to envelop the competition with its high stats and eruptive variety of moves. I'd like to thank my patrons for deciding on what animal to choose. Although technically I was kind of restrictive because I wanted to do a monotream. Let me know if that's a bit unfair, and if it is, I'll definitely consider that for future polls. But yes, I did actually enjoy this one and it was really fun to do. Volduckon is probably one of my favourite designs. Although I'm not sure if it could have done a bit more, but I didn't want to overdo it. I still want to make it look like a Psyduck, Golduck evolution, but I don't know. Anyway, if you want to have a big influence on the channel, I think you know what to check out. Minimum cost is whatever currency you have. Out of the Mesozoic and into the Cenozoic, we have our first bird in this video, which is also our first terror bird in the series. Kelenken. Remains of this animal were first found in 1999 by Argentine student Ramiro Aguirre Zabala, 100 meters away from a train station of a small village, Cantcamelo, which is in north of the Rio Negro province in Patagonia, Argentina. 8 years later, in 2007, it was formally described by Bertelli et al. The remains are currently displayed in a museum in Vorombe. As I stated before, Kelenken is a member of the Phenac, otherwise known as terror birds. But what do you know? Kelenken was the largest known member. From the tip of the beak to the back of the skull, Kelenken's skull was 716mm or 28.2 inches long, making it the largest skull of any known bird. The beak itself was 45.7cm or 18 inches long. Like other terror birds, Kelenken didn't fly, instead using their legs to traverse. If the informal name didn't give it away, terror birds were fearsome predators, and Kelenken was no exception, using their sight when hunting down their prey. How Kelenken took down their prey isn't clear, but there have been some ideas. One method is chasing down its prey, dealing bone-shattering blows with its beak, picking its prey up and shaking vigorously until neck or back snaps. It could have also been a kleptoparasite, scaring off other predators using its large size, then feasting on their kill. If that's not scary enough, Kelenken could have lived in pairs or even small groups. In Miocene Patagonia, the environment would have been open fields filled with pampa-type vegetation, where Kelenken lived alongside various mammals, including rodents and reptiles such as snakes and tortoises. If you think they're gone, you're wrong. Except they're smaller, Kelenken's closest relatives being the Ceriemus. I am so glad a terror bird made it into the series, as they are so terrifying and so unique. Actually, terror birds did take up the niche of apex predators after the infamous Cretaceous extinction. Anyway, let's see what this massive, terrifying bird will look like as a Pokemon. While it couldn't fly, this Pokemon raced across the lands of ancient times at Mach speeds. Its talons leave scorch marks wherever it runs. It was one of the most fearsome predators of the ancient world. It attacked foes with its powerful beak. This is Queken! I like the rounded shape and colours used in this design, although the beak does look menacing. Also, I've been curious about the pattern on its back. It kind of reminds me of... I'm getting like Code Lyoko vibes, I think? That's a show I watched when I was a kid, but that was years ago. I could watch it again, it's on Netflix, but I haven't got around to it yet. Oh, and I know it must have been through cement with those feet. Would make sense, because it would have melted the cement down. For stats, Queken is quick with 140 speed and has good physical offense, but it isn't the most defensive. For abilities, we have Quick Feet and Sand Rush to boost its already insane speed, and Big Pecs to counter sand attackers. With Quick Feet, I feel Toxic Orb would work best, just be careful of its HP. For moves, we have quite a selection, although I couldn't include all that was suggested. We have options for great coverage such as Wild Charge to counter water types, and the other moves would deal neutral damage. And if Queken is against a bulky ground type, it can escape using U-turn. Overall, I think Queken can hit pretty hard for a fast Pokemon, and would work best as a fast sweeper using Fire Spin or Sand Tomb to quickly trap and whittle down your opponents. I'd like to thank GrovyleLover for their design, and also doing this shiny as well, which is subtle but I think is very noticeable. The main body originally was a bright red, is now an even brighter orange, and the rest of the colours are a lot more saturated as well. Anyway, if you like what you see, then you can check out their links on here and in the description below. I mean, you can't click on the screen, you have to go to the description to actually click it, but you know, the username's in that. Our second and final bird in this video is possibly an even larger bird, Vorombe Titan. The bird was first described by Charles William Andrews as Aepyornis titan in 1894. However, in 2018, James Hansford and Samuel Turvey, two researchers from the Zoological Society of London, found it was distinct from Aepyornis and moved it to its own genus Vorombe, due to the discovered bones having a slightly different shape Furthermore, they also recognize A in genus as a synonym of Vorombe Titan. A genus name, Vorombe, is derived from the Malagasy word Vorombe, or Vorombe, meaning big bird. The species name Titan derived from the ancient Greek word Titiv, or Titan, which refers to the Greek gods that preceded the 12 Olympians. This animal is a member of the elephant birds, which were a group of giant birds. These birds belong to a family called ratites, and are flightless birds with flat chest bones. These animals include excellent birds such as the ostrich, emu, kiwi, rhea, and the cassowaries. Of course, Vorombe was the largest and heaviest bird to have existed, giving its species name justice. The elephant birds, Vorombe aepyornis and mulleronis, lived across Madagascar, from arid spiny forests in the south, succulent woodlands in the southeast, and grasslands and subhumid forests in the central highlands. Vorombe and other elephant birds lived alongside dwarf hippos, giant lemurs, and giant tortoises. The eggs Vorombe laid were large enough to satisfy a single family meal, although there is no evidence of their nests being raided. From what I researched on another elephant bird, aepyornis, humans did settle into Madagascar but didn't hunt them down to extinction because it was considered taboo. What could have led to the cause of the elephant bird's extinction was diseases people brought, that they themselves caught from chickens and peafowls. Who knew we'd have 2 large birds in this video? To be honest, I didn't know there were multiple genera of elephant birds. So this is the second one I looked into since the artist looked into Vorombe as their main reference. Anyway, let's see what this titanic bird would look like as a Pokemon. Hyperactive in everything it does, Eggalla will start running for even the smallest of reasons. Once they start running, they rarely ever want to stop. If something is in the way, they will lower their head and headbutt through objects and foes alike with their rock-hard egg helmet. These Pokemon are able to run while asleep. Eggalla races are all the rage amongst children. This cute little bird is Eggalla. So, from what I'm told, Eggalla are based on ostrich chicks and guinea fowl chicks, also known as keets. To be honest, I never knew that, and keet sounds really cute. It also reminds me of yeet. Speaking of which, yeah! For stats, despite its dex entry, Eggalla is actually more of a fast tank? Well, I suppose it makes sense considering the egg on its head being like really hard. Anyway, for its abilities we have Rattles, Quick Feet, and Speed Boost, all surrounding speed. Not much else to say except to see what evolution Eggalla would ram into. Gallivant are as paranoid a Pokemon as they come. Even the slightest disturbance will send them into a panic. Farmers will often use them as lookouts for their other livestock. Once their trust is gained, they make for powerful companions. Despite how flighty they are, against small predators, Gallivants are surprisingly vicious. The biggest and strongest males often lead their flock to gang up on predators like Ekans and Silicobra. They bludgeon them with powerful pecks and kicks. To protect their own eggs, Gallivant hens will lay infertile decoy eggs in order to trick predators. These eggs are said to be incredibly tasty. This guy can brutally peck and scratch snakes to death. Also, I want to try the eggs, even if they are decoys. Because if they are that tasty, then I want to try it. Because I'm getting into eggs again. Anyway, this is Gallivant. Again, according to the artist, Gallivant is based on the Volturine guineafowl, mixed with the Madagascar naked neck chicken. Yeah, I can see that. It's colourful and very much like a chicken. Just as a two-faced chicken that can be aggressive if you're a snake. Good thing Mudkip is keeping his distance. For stats, Gallivant has now got a more pronounced physical attack, followed by its pretty good speed. For abilities, they remain the same, being around speed. Now, Gallivant evolves depending on what stone you give it, but we'll start with a familiar stone. Ostreede are some of the fastest Pokemon in all of Malagas. They are regarded as one of the first Pokemon to be domesticated. One of the first depictions of Ostreede being used as a form of mount can be found on walls of caves from long ago. Very few Pokemon can actually catch a motivated Ostreede. In some parts of Malagas, Ostreede are known as the Wind Demon due to their blinding speed and sometimes nasty attitude. These Pokemon live in large flocks led by a dominant male and his harem. When a predator is spotted from a distance, they will stick their heads into the ground and discharge electricity through it, shocking foes from below. If a predator is too close, they'll deliver kicks from their powerful legs, slashing them with their massive talons. In Malagas, Ostreede races are some of the most popular annual events around, with many coming far and wide to compete and spectate. Can I just point out that these are probably the most detailed entries I've ever seen in the series. Rest in peace, my throat. Anyway, I hope the Dex box had enough room there. Anyway, here is Ostreede. As you guessed, this is clearly based on an ostrich. What I like is how it's designed with flex speed and typing while still retaining the large feet of Vorombe. Furthermore, the red patterns on the head make a great contrast to the rest of the body. For stats, Ostreede is the fastest Pokemon in this video, with 145 speed and a good 100 attack. However, it is incredibly frail and lacks any HP bulk. For abilities, they once again remain the same. Finally, for moves, we have a large variety. Stat boosts like Hone Claws and Sword Stance, hazards like Spikes and Stealth Rock, to powerful moves like Thunderous Kick and the new move, Grounded Surge, which is quite an interesting move as it's super effective against ground types. Overall, you have plenty of options with this feathery steed. These Pokemon went extinct over 1,200 years ago. The reason why is often attributed to being hunted by ancient humans. They pack mud onto their backs as a form of protection. This mud armor is tough enough to stop spears and arrowheads. They use their powerful beak to break open the hardest berry shells. These Pokemon are incredibly devoted parents. They will store their young inside the mud pile. Despite its massive size, they aren't very confrontational. They would much rather run away than fight. Outside of a parent with its young, Ratitan preferred to live alone. And finally, the biggest bird in this video is Ratitan. Obviously the name derived from the Ratite family, but with the name Titan, which is an epic word in my opinion. Anyway, I love the creativity and respect put into this design. It looks like a tank while not looking exaggerated or straying away from the elephant bird influence. Also, the hump-like part on its back is actually based on a mud hat, and those rocks on its shoulders are a nod to the elephant name, because elephant never mind. For stats, Ratitan is a tank with surprisingly high HP and decent defense stats. However, it's slow and lacks any offensive presence. For its abilities, they are drastically changed, with more defensive versions such as Stamina, Own Tempo, and a new terrain ability, Muddy Surge, which I'll explain now. But basically it summons a muddy terrain. So how muddy terrain works is like other terrain abilities. So as well as affecting ground type Pokemon, it also affects water type Pokemon, where they take less damage from special moves. Also, all other grounded Pokemon have their speed cut in half, which is insanely handy. For moves, they are similar to Ostreede but are more defensive, including a new move, Mud Armor, which is really powerful, sharply raising both the user's defense and special defense stats, making Ratitan an even bulkier Pokemon. My preferred set might be the ability Muddy Surge, as Ratitan could become faster than most Pokemon and get a special defense boost. Adding that with Mud Armor for a further defense boost, boost for recovery, spikes for hazard pressure, and standard defensive moves like High Horsepower or Rock Slide can make Ratitan an ultimate tank. However, Ratitan can also be a bulky sweeper, thanks to Sword Dance, that would greatly benefit behind a substitute. This can be used to execute powerful moves like Close Combat, Brave Bird, Head Smash, etc. Oh, and Own Tempo might be the best ability for this set since Intimidate is fairly common. For counters, if Muddy Terrain isn't in effect, special moves can still hit pretty hard, especially from water types. Even if Muddy Terrain is in effect, faster airborne Pokemon such as the ice-flying type Articuno or Moroton with its levitate ability will be unaffected by the speed reduction unless grounded. Overall, Ratitan might not have the most powerful stat total, however it still has a good stat spread, has good abilities and moves that would serve as an ideal muddy mixed wall. I would like to thank Sean Falco for doing these designs, and I'm so happy you didn't just do one Pokemon but you've done so many, and whew, it's a lot to go over, but to be honest I'm really happy. Especially doing a split evolution as well, that's just amazing. Also, you see those shinies here? I did do them myself, but then to be fair, they also used a traditional medium. I mean, man, this guy's really pushed their limits. Thank you so much for these designs, and I hope these shinies look great to you. And I hope you enjoyed them doing the odd bit for the video as well. Anyway, if you want to check them out, then you can see their socials on the screen, and you can access them on the description below. Or in the description, rather. Taking a break from stereotypical eggs, we have our first insect in this video, Xerces blue. The Xerces blue was a butterfly that had blue wings with white spots, and where they lived was stabilised coastal sand dunes. This species was first described and documented in 1852. The Xerces blue is the first American butterfly species to have become extinct, due to habitat loss caused by urban development, killing off their food source as their soil was disturbed, which butterflies' larval stages depended on. Last one was either seen in 1941 or 1943 in the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. Efforts are being made to re-establish other related butterflies in the Xerces blue's habitat. The Palos Verdes blue, or Glaucopsyche ligdamus Palos verdesensis, which is considered a Los Angeles cousin of the Xerces, is being reared in labs. Also, a new Xerces-like subspecies of the silvery blue, Glaucopsyche ligdamus, has been discovered as well. An endangered invertebrate conservation group known as the Xerces Society is named after the Xerces blue. The specific name derives from the French spelling of Xerces, the Greek name of the Persian king Xerxes I and Xerxes II of the 5th century BC. If you wish to see what these butterflies look like, preserved specimens can be found in the California Academy of Sciences, Burhart Museum, and the Harvard Museum of Natural History. Such a beautiful butterfly that went extinct due to human development. Not too much to say except I hope we don't lose any more, since butterflies are beautiful and diverse. Also, they don't sting you like another certain insect. Anyway, let's see what this blue butterfly would look like as a Pokemon. Once a common sight, Bleuxes were infamous for their crystal blue colouring. However, their numbers began to dwindle when the large butterfly began outcompeting it for food with their poisonous spores. They are currently but rarely found near small ponds, where they are able to feed off water lilies. This is Bleuxes! Now, can I just say that Bleuxes is just gorgeous? Especially with the watercolour rendering. I'm intrigued about the patterns on its wings and the fluffy coat around its neck and torso. For stats, Bleuxes has an interesting spread, with emphasis on its special stats, good HP and decent speed. For abilities, we have the bulky offensive Swarm, the pure bulky Shield Dust, and the offensive or prankster set, Serene Grace. For moves, we have a large variety, including water type moves. You have options for a defensive wall, with Rest, Aqua Ring, Struggle Bug, or Calm Mind, support with Life Dew, Barrier, Light Screen and Safeguard, or a sweeper with Moonblast, Brine, Air Slash, Quiver Dance, Psyshock, or Bug Buzz. It is up to you what set could work best, as this Pokemon can do quite a bit. However, Bleuxes is vulnerable to many physical moves, including fast Pokemon like Lycanroc and Durant, and powerful bulky Pokemon like Centiskorch and Muck. Overall, Bleuxes has a few options to choose from thanks to its specialised stats, abilities and moves, but can still be easily squashed. I'd like to thank Histo AP for doing this design, and oh, it's gorgeous. I really appreciate that you chose a lesser known animal, I suppose. I don't think many people actually know of this butterfly. And the thing is, with all of these extinct creatures, there are going to be some that won't be put in the spotlight. And I think beautiful Pokemon like this do justify those lesser known animals. Oh, and also here's its shiny. So, is Sapphire Pink a word? Ruby Pink? I don't know, I'm just getting like a crystal pink colour. I don't know what you call it. Pearl pink? I don't know. Anyway, if you're interested in their work, then please check out their socials in the description below. Our final entry in this video is another unconventional egg layer, because people usually think of bird eggs when eggs come to mind. I mean, when I was looking up stock, I type in eggs and, you know, just chicken eggs. Anyway, here is the most recently extinct egg-laying animal in this video, the Tecopa Pupfish. The Tecopa Pupfish was first described as a subspecies of a Margosa pupfish by Robert Rush Miller in 1948 after studying them for 6 years. They lived in the outflows of a pair of hot springs in the Mojave Desert of California, where the fish can survive water temperatures of 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius or higher. These fish had a small pelvic fin that is occasionally non-existent in some individuals. Also, they were able to lay from 2 to 10 eggs. The springs were a hotspot for people wanting to run bathhouses, so modifications were made to the habitat by diverting the outflows of the springs. In 1965, the springs were rechanneled, causing the temperature to rise to higher temperatures than the pupfish were adapted to. This added with the introduction of other fish such as the bluegill and the western mosquito fish added to the struggle for the Tecopa pupfish. The last confirmed specimens were collected in February 1970. None have been found since. Out of 40 locations have been searched for the Fish and Wildlife Service declared the Tecopa pupfish extinct. Not going to lie, that is sad, and another example of an animal dying out due to unnecessary selfishness of humankind. I mean, dying because people want to take a steam bath isn't exactly an elegant way to go, especially when you adapt to high temperatures. Anyway, let's see what this pupfish would look like as a Pokemon. Larger than their Sinnoh counterparts, these Pokemon migrate across oceans to their breeding grounds, where they lay up to 100 eggs in the hot springs. This is Finneon! Another variant in the series and another variant in this video. Oh, such a cute design that, while simple, has still got a unique design, and does stand out to the regular Finneon with a more brighter and colourful palette. I must mention that this Finneon doesn't evolve. For stats, this Finneon variant is bulkier and has high special attack. For its abilities, we have Swift Swim, Storm Drain, and Water Veil. To be honest, I feel Storm Drain might be the best of these abilities since Finneon isn't that fast but can utilise its special attack stat, which is its best stat. For moves, you have quite an interesting selection. If you want to go on the offensive, we have Dazzling Gleam, Air Slash, Ice Beam, Icy Wind, Psybeam, Scald, Surf, and Water Pulse. But if you want to improve your longevity, Roost, Confuse Ray, Safeguard, and Aqua Ring are really good as well. Not much to say about Finneon. While it is really cute in design, when it comes to its competitiveness, its stats really do hold it back. I'd like to thank Pikapoll for doing this design. I appreciate that you actually did use your own style for a Finneon variant. And Finneon is a Pokemon I do find underutilized, and I hope with this design it actually looks better, because you do get a lot of Pokemon that, while not competitively amazing, still have the designs to back them up. Anyway, if you want to check out their social media, then you can check out the link in the description below. As far as I'm aware, they only have Instagram, but the screen will show the truth. And now we're at the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed it, because I do put a lot of effort into these videos. I mean, the editing, the animating, oh, it's just brutal. But yes, I do apologise for this video being a bit late. I was hoping to get it done on Easter Sunday, or try and get a video up for Easter Sunday. But with the artists doing the work in time, making sure the cutaway artists take the time to reply and that, there's a lot that goes into this video. And by the way, big thank you to them for, their input, their contribution to the video. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap up this video because I don't really know what else to say. There's just a lot more videos I've got planned this year, but yeah, I'm going to pull through with this because I am really determined to get a lot done. So if you want to support me through my endeavours, then please check out my Patreon. The minimum cost is, well, I'm going to say $1, but it might vary depending on your region. Also, with Patreon perks, I'm happy to hear any suggestions. Like I could do something like theme depending on the season. Like, for example, if it was an Easter season, maybe I could do custom egg drawings of for your Fakemon designs or something. I don't know, whatever you suggest.
Sorry for the interruption, but we have our first question from our patron, Colton_Crimson. Will you eventually evolve or stay as you are? To be honest, dude, I have no idea. I reckon I ate an Everston or something when I was a wee kid. If you want me to answer your questions, then please think of becoming a Silver Skull patron or above. Thanks Colton_Crimson for your support.
If you want to follow me on my other sites, you can check them out down in the description below. They include Facebook, Instagram, DeviantArt, ArtStation, etc. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, then you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, and if you like what you see from me, then check out my channel, subscribe, and of course, to be notified by my infrequent uploads, don't forget to click that little bronze bell. And thank you for watching this video. In the past, present, or even future, I will see you there. Goodbye!